Well, hello everybody. We're getting close to July. Uh, Mr. Chestnut and I've been doing this for a year,
Yeah.
7th of July, and we've been really thoroughly enjoying these. So today we're going to talk about the Fairmont Museum. The Border Belt used to be called the Border Belt Tobacco Farmers Museum, and now it's the Border Belt Farmers Museum. They took
Yes,
the
sir.
tobacco out of it, and this is going to be a little longer than most of our videos. Not that much longer. I mean, you can still break for lunch and supper, but I can't do this justice and the honor that I want to pay to Mr. Wiley Taylor. We wouldn't have a museum without him, and do it in 7 minutes. It just and Mr. Chestnut's going to throw in his part too. Every single day that I was a teenager living in this town, there wasn't a day that we missed. My best friend Bobby Smith and I went into that museum. Then it was the railroad station, and his father was the railroad train depot manager. We went in there every day. Sometimes he would hand us a broom. I'm not talking about a push broom, I'm talking about a regular two-hand broom, and we would pay. We would get $10 to sweep out a boxcar. Some of you don't know how big a boxcar is. You see them ride by them, but you don't know what it is till you get inside it. We made little cash money on the side doing that. The greatest thrill I ever had in my life was Mr. Vernon one day. Mr. Vernon Smith said, "Why don't y'all go across the street there to Armand Jenkins's grocery store, which is the middle section between Badcock Furniture and FF Palace. That middle section used to be a grocery store. Armand Jenkins ran it. And get you some steaks and come back and cook out with the train crew."
Wow.
Wow is right. That was legendary. Got to cook on the loading dock out there, grilled steaks with the engineer, and oh, wow. So I have an intimate knowledge from being a young boy and growing up here of the museum. Well, we lost the train. We lost the museum because the train left. There was no R.J. Reynolds and American Tobacco Company started hauling their tobacco to Winston-Salem and Durham by trucks.
Yeah.
So we lost the train. Well, when we lost the train, we lost the train depot, and it sat there unused. Mr. Wiley Taylor, World War II veteran, Captain, D-Day plus two,
Wow.
wonderful man, lived on Gertrude Street, my surrogate father, decided he would remodel that building and turn it into a museum. So he, in his mechanic's uniform, khaki material, sat on the loading dock every single day in the hottest summer we ever had in 1985,
Wow.
and had me up there to go run errands for him and go get Mountain Dews and snacks. And he would holler into the carpenters, "You need to move that nail over about 3 inches. That's not where a nail would go on the front of a tobacco barn. You need to do."
Wow.
The inside of the museum is custom built to fit Mr. Wiley Taylor's needs. And it was called the Border Belt Tobacco Museum. And then some well-meaning, health-conscious people decided to change it to the Border Belt Farmers Museum, and Mr. Wiley Taylor lost his mind. I've never heard Mr. Wiley Taylor utter any profanity in my life. I'm sure he had, because he was an infantry captain during World War
Oh,
II
of course.
in France. In France, just like
Yeah.
the scenes in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
So, but he was very hot when they changed the name of this museum. He actually put a van in the Farmers Parade of 1986 with a massive sign on the side, both sides of the van. "Our museum is devoted to tobacco farmers. If you don't like it, leave."
Wow. Wow. That's a bold statement.
Yes, sir.
It's a bold statement.
And so the train station was converted into a museum. And little did I know that in 2014, after not being in office for a couple of years, I would get a chance to work there as a docent For those of you who don't know what that means, that's a fancy word meaning like a guide, along with Miss Liv Haywood, who'd been working there since the day they opened.
I like Miss Liv.
And Miss Liv was there on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and I was there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I say this honestly. It was the worst job I ever had because it was the job that I had that I didn't do anything. And this is, Mr. Chestnut and I are going to wade in on this topic in a minute. Something needs to be done when you have small towns that have museums or special buildings, historical buildings, to get people to go there.
Most definitely.
I tried for the 4 years I worked there. And my wife passed away in 2017, and I went back to Lakeview as an assistant to the principal. But for the 4 years I was there, every Tuesday and Thursday, hardly anybody ever came.
Wow.
I tried for 3 years to get the middle school to have tours come up, 2 blocks away, and they didn't because of the end of grade testing and preparing for that test. If you're listening to me and you know anything about Fairmont, have been in Fairmont, live in Fairmont, you really, and have never been, you really need to go to that museum. It's got everything you need to know, history of the tobacco, cotton, textile mills. I went through every shred of paper in there, every filing cabinet, every shred of paper over the 4 years, and redid all of that. That's how I have a lot of my photographs and pictures.
Wow.
But I'm gonna let Mr. Chestnut talk about it. He's probably familiar with other places he's lived and that kind of thing. But historically, that white building that you pass by coming down Main Street and make that curve by Royal Chevrolet, it has a lot of history.
And Mr. Mayor, thank you for some of that I've never heard. I like our museum. It was one of my first community visits when I got here in Fairmont, and I got to go down there and spend time with Miss Liv down at the museum, and it was a very eye-opening experience. As a child, as a young kid, I worked on tobacco farms with my grandmother, my mom, my uncle, my aunts, and it was such a throwback to those days. And Miss Liv every year goes out to a local farmer and gets fresh tobacco,
Oh, yeah.
so it continues to smell that way. So it really was an eye-opening experience to go and visit there, to show me some of the things I missed as a child with the smell of tobacco. My grandmother used to actually take tobacco, put it in a pan, wet it a little bit, and set it on fire, and it would keep the mosquitoes away.
Right.
You know, she used to sit on her porch in the evenings with tobacco pans to keep the mosquitoes away. But I said all of that to say, a couple of months after that visit with Miss Liv, I got the chance to go down and talk to the Historical Society.
Right.
They met down there to review old film and that sort of thing, and it was a very good experience being around people that embrace history. I know there's a lot of things going on about history in America right now, and what that may look like in the future. But one of the things that history teaches us is how not to make the same mistakes twice. For us, what that means for the town of Fairmont is that when the town is doing good, like it was during the tobacco years,
Yeah.
we still have to plan for the future. And that did not happen then. Through no one's fault of their own. You know, we thought tobacco was going to be here in southeastern North Carolina forever. And it didn't turn out that way. But what I'm here today to share with the citizens is there's still a purpose in our museum. Take the opportunity as an adult, or take your child down there, take friends and families that come and visit, and just experience those sights, that smell, and realize that it was a very important part of Fairmont's history to get us where we are today. Without tobacco and textiles, our town would have been known less, and may not even be in the position we are today, which isn't the best, but we're not the worst either. So what my plans are, and I've talked about it with the staff, is maybe over the next few years, the town actually takes over the museum, bring it back to life, establish an online presence for the museum,
Right.
so we can get the support we need to keep our museum open for the future. So it will not happen this year, but it's definitely on the radar that, for one, we love our museum. For two, we're going to do what it takes to keep our museum because we appreciate the history of tobacco in our town. And there's some other farmers' equipment over there, that people can see. There's a tobacco drag in there. There's, like I said earlier, tobacco hanging on a stick in there. It's just something that I embrace. I love Miss Libby. Miss Libby comes up here, steals my coffee a
Yeah.
couple of days a week. But very good topic for us to discuss about the museum and about the future of the museum, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chestnut just said something that is very poignant to me. I had a gentleman one time sit in this office, and when I was mayor before, and say, I have a niece that plays on the Martin Lawrence show, Tashina Arnold. She plays Pam.
Yeah.
I've seen every Martin Lawrence show in the world. Every time they've ever shown one, I've watched the repeats 100 times. And he said, whenever she comes to visit from New York or LA, I'm gonna bring her and have her meet you. I said, okay. Well, about several years later, when I'm mayor this time, he called me and he said, Pam is in my house. We're having a barbecue this afternoon. We've got a few hours. Mind if I bring her here? Now, I'm not gonna ask Chrissy to turn the camera, but if you want me to prove this to you, I got a picture right here of her and her daughter that she gave me and autographed it. She came to my house. And the only reason I'm telling you this is not to make me sound like I'm some kind of celebrity follower. There's a point here. She came in, we had a conversation. Her grandfather, there was a guy with a camera. He was following her around taking pictures. And she said, tell me a little bit about Fairmont. And I told her, much as what I've told today, and some other things. And when I got to the part about tobacco and the fact that it died out, Tashina Arnold, who played Pam on Martin Lawrence's TV show, one of the funniest women I've ever been around in my life, looked at me in my living room and said, what did y'all do when it went out? That's the point. And I had never been asked that question by any living person before.
That's right.
And I was stunned. And I said, we had no backup plan. And we did not.
Correct.
And we foundered and struggled. And we're still struggling to a degree. Not as much as we did 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, but we're getting better.
Yes, sir.
Tobacco, use a good old country phrase, tobacco brung us.
That's right.
Textiles brung us. There wasn't a person living in this town that wasn't connected to tobacco or textiles. Everybody had jobs. Businesses were rocking and rolling. I worked at a grocery store in Fairmont when I was 16 and 17 years old. I know what it was like to try and walk with 2 bags of paper bags of groceries, one in each arm. When I walked out of Bill Mitchell's grocery store on the middle of Main Street, you could not walk down the sidewalk. You had to walk between cars and on the driver's side down, or whichever way you were going, until you got to where the lady's car was to put the stuff in her trunk. I know what that was like. I know what the smells were like.
Yeah.
Popcorn, Spanish peanuts, Cole Brothers fish, John Pierce's hamburgers, and tobacco. All of it mixed together.
Wow.
So it's sad for Mr. Chestnut. He worked in the back in Chadbourne area, and he grew up in that kind of environment a little bit. But there are people that have come to us from New York and New Jersey and Connecticut. They don't have a clue
That's right.
how sad it is that we've lost all that.
That's right.
But I highly recommend the museum. It's not just a white building that used to be a train station. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later. Really, it's got a ton of memorabilia in there. The most important thing is in there for me, the most important, is a hogshead.
Yeah.
Tobacco hogshead, big barrel. People will know, what's a hogshead? It's a barrel, hinged on one side, locked on the other, carry 500 pounds of tobacco, and you put 32 of those in a boxcar, seal the door, because I was the one that sealed it for 4 summers with an aluminum seal.
Yeah.
And that boxcar went to Whitaker Park and Brook Cove, where R.J. Reynolds unloaded them. And from the moment that the car stopped rolling till it was door was open, no human hands touched that until it became a pack of cigarettes.
That's right.
So, a lot of history, and we could sit here and talk about this all day, and I've had to wake several of y'all up already. You've probably gone off to sleep, and maybe you've gone and got you some coffee. Your coffee got cold, don't blame me. But that's a little bit about our museum. Come to Fairmont.
Yeah.
Call me up. I'll see that I'll get a key.
Yeah,
If
I'll
they
take
don't
you
know,
down there.
we'll take you down there.
Yeah.
We'll get you down there. You know, might even sell you some tobacco. That's all
right.
I did want to do when I was growing up, 12 years old. I wanted to be a tobacco auctioneer,
Yes, sir.
and I never missed it. So I ended up being a government official, and I'm still talking out of both sides of my mouth.
That's
Thank
awesome.
y'all for listening.
Most
Come
definitely.
visit our museum.